Hi everybody, I'm going to be talking about how to do the ideal gas law calculation assignment using the Deflategate data. This video is going to have three parts. First, I'm going to show you how to access the data on Google Classroom. Second, I'm going to show you how to use spreadsheets to calculate your numbers. And the third thing I'm going to do is show you how to submit your work on Google Classroom. All right, first, I'm on Google Classroom right now, and this is the gas laws lesson 2. All right, you can see the directions are all here. But what I'm going to want to do is click on the title of this assignment. And you can see that at the bottom of the page here, there are two versions, two documents that have my name on them. My name's not Testy McTesterson. I'm using the student test account that I have. You're going to see your name. Everyone has their own unique documents here, so we don't mess anybody up and we can submit our own work. So I'm going to click on the Google Sheets version. All right, this document has all the data from the case study. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to use the Google spreadsheet to calculate data. And I'm going to point out that in this document, there's the R value we're going to need to use. And by the way, we can only use this R value when we have units in atmospheres, liters, moles, and Kelvin. Also notice that I can really only use numbers on spreadsheet if there's only the number in the cell. And if I want anything else, I should put it in the next cell next to it, like labels should be in other cells. All right. We can also see that we have pressures of the footballs at the beginning of the game. Again, these are gauge pressures right here. So we can't really use those pressures. The reason being, those are the pressures above absolute zero, and they're in PSI, which doesn't match up with our R value. So I actually calculated the real pressures for you. The way I did that, and I'm going to click on the cell right here so to show you how I did it. And up here is the formula bar, so you can see what I typed to get that. What I did was I clicked on the C7 cell here, and I added it to 14.7 because that's atmospheric pressure in PSI. So that got me the actual pressure of the football in PSI. Then I divided by 14.7 because that's the conversion to get from PSI to atmospheres. So when I finish that, it comes out with that number, and I did that for each of these cells. Actually, what I did was I filled down. So you fill down by clicking on this little box here, and you drag down. And what it does is it sends the exact same formula into every cell. But if the cell goes down one, it knows, the spreadsheet knows as a feature that you want the cell down here. Right, we're going to talk about how to prevent it from changing the cell when you fill down or copy and paste in a sec. All right, I have the volume of football in milliliters, and I turned it to liters for you. I have the temperatures in Kelvin at the beginning and end of the game. You can see again that I did some formula magic here. And then I have the referees, the data that they collected at halftime for the Patriots. And again, I converted those pressures for you. And for the Colts. And they ran out of time, so they only got 4 of the Colts footballs. All right. Your assignment is to do 3 calculations. One of them should be an ideal gas law calculation. One should be a combined gas law calculation. But I'm going to leave the third up to you. So as a sample right here, I'm going to go and I'm going to do something with the ideal gas law. And so if I look around, I don't know, well, I don't see moles anywhere here. So let me calculate moles. All right. I should point out that in the original document here that has directions for this lesson, that at the bottom I have some equations that might help you. So if we scroll down here, and by the way, there's some videos that'll help you too, to calculate the PV equals nRT equation solved for numbers of moles is this. So I'm going to copy this equation by highlighting it and doing Control C. And then I'm going to click back over the spreadsheet, and I'm going to do Control V to paste. Wait, that's not the right equation. Well, sometimes things don't really work well when you copy and paste. So I'm just going to fix this. I'm going to go and hit the division button, which is the slash, divided by parentheses RT to make sure my order of operations are good. All right, that's the correct equation. Notice it's not calculating anything for me because to the spreadsheet, this is formatted as text. The spreadsheet's just showing it as if it's text. We're going to talk about now how you're going to go and make sure that you can calculate with the spreadsheet using calculations. So I'm going to go and solve for number of moles using pressure, volume, the R value, and temperature. All right, I'm going to click here just because I'm going to put the number there, and I'm going to hit the equal sign. Equal sign is really important. It tells the spreadsheet that we're going to calculate a formula. We're going to calculate a number. All right, I could go and actually type numbers, like I could type 2 divided by 2 and do that, and I can use numbers. But instead, I'm going to use cell references. That's when I click the actual cells. So I'm going to click the cell for pressure, for volume, for R, and for T. So let's start with pressure. I'm going to use the Patriots pressure at the beginning of the game. Then I'm going to type a star and asterisk over the number 8 because that's multiplication. And I'm going to click the volume. Again, I got to make sure I use all the correct units here. I'm going to type the division key, which is the slash, open parentheses. I'm going to type that. Then I'm going to click R, multiply, again, star. And I'm going to click the temperature for the locker room. Close parentheses, and then I can press enter. That's so I just typed, so if I double click the cell, the formula comes up again. That's P times V over R times T. I got to make sure to label what this number means. This is the moles of gas in the Pats football at the start of the game in the locker room. All right, that's what that number is. But if you scroll down here, there's all this data that was done at halftime when the ball is presumably cold after being taken in from the field. All right, wouldn't it be nice if I could just go copy this, Control C and Control V, but nothing really, that didn't work. Let me double click on the cell and you can see that all the numbers got messed up. All right, the reason all the numbers moved was the same thing as what happened in the fill down earlier today. So what I want to do instead is I want to use absolute cell references in this original formula. That way I can make sure the numbers don't move. The way you do that is you put dollar signs in front of each letter and each number. Oh, oops, I accidentally got rid of the D there that was there. I'm going to click that again, dollar sign in front of the 13, dollar sign in front of B and in front of 3, dollar sign in front of D and 17. If I do it right, you can see all the cell references are still colored correctly. Press equal, this value is still here. And this time, if I copy it and I paste it, it's the same number because none of the cells have moved. But this time, instead of the temperature being D17, I want it to be D18, which is the temperature on the field. You can see that's 18 there. And this time for pressure, instead of that pressure, I want the pressure measured with gauge 1, so that pressure at halftime. All right, so I just hit enter. It calculated a new number. What's this? This is the moles of gas in the ball, in the Pats ball, at halftime, at field temp, using gauge 1. All right, and what I can do right now is I can actually hit this little box here and fill down. And you'll notice because there's no dollar signs in front of the pressure number, it went and in every cell here, it moved that cell to be that. And then I'm kind of curious, so I'm going to make an average here. So I'm going to hit equal at the end, average, hit the word average, open parentheses, and I'm going to go and highlight all these cells. And this is going to take the average of all those cells. So look at our numbers. At the beginning of the game, there was 0.0197 moles here. And at halftime, there's about the same amount. Well, so some seem like they could be lower. Some seem like they could be higher. So that's going to be left up to you to argue this. But now I want to report my answers in the document. So I'm going to go click back to Google Classroom. I'm going to open up my Google Doc here. And this is where we're going to make an argument. We're going to copy our answers and make an argument here. So I'm going to type Mr. Koutros, my name. And I'm going to go and I'm going to copy. That's the pressure at the beginning. Control V will paste it. And I want to paste unlinked. You can link to spreadsheet. That's fine too. All right. And I want to go down here and I'm just going to copy the first cell. Might be a little not quite right, but that's the number of moles there. And probably I should round these to sig figs. So I'm going to type mole there.